You are now entering the box. Welcome back to Inside the Box. Today we have one of my favorite flavorful food guests here, John, a.k.a. Hibachi Boy.
Yes, sir. How's
Welcome,
it going,
welcome.
man?
Good.
Nice seeing you again.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
It's been a while. How long has it been? I think
Our last one was at my sister-in-law's in the garage when we had
Yeah.
family in town last year.
Okay. I didn't know if it was been a year or two. I've been
Yeah, you
Rocking
they
and
probably
rolling.
mixed together.
yeah.
A lot of hibachi served.
It's crazy. Obviously, something I strive for, but I didn't realize it was gonna be so significant of
Yeah.
a business model here in Central Illinois.
How? So for those that don't know, why don't you tell them just a little bit about what you do?
Well, so private hibachi chef. Go to people's houses, bring the entire restaurant experience to their doorstep or venue of their choosing. We typically have a 7-course offering, everything that you're used to. The veggies, the rice, chicken, shrimp, steak, all that. Comes with the tables, chairs, a server, and to-go boxes and everything, Like I said, everything you're used to at a restaurant, straight to your doorstep or wherever you're at.
Yeah. So we've used them for my birthday one time. My wife surprised me, and they were just set up in our garage, and that was a fun night.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my most memorable birthdays, actually. But the whole freaking setup, man. They had people bringing us our drinks and everything. It was awesome, great experience.
The comfort of your own house, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's,
maybe not, but it should make you feel nice and comfortable.
yeah.
being taken care
I've
of.
seen pictures of you doing it on people's back patios,
Yeah.
like all kinds of different. What's the weirdest place you've ever done it?
We did one on a steady dock. We've done it 2 times now out in Lake Decatur.
Yeah,
And so we were literally on the water.
weird.
So that was a really neat one. Weirdest place? Not weird. The coolest place. So weird and cool. An airplane hangar. A private
nice.
airplane hangar down in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay,
That was
that's quite the travel right there.
yeah, and cooking down for the sports organization teams down there at the University of Louisville. I can't talk. University of Louisville, Kentucky.
Nice.
And, we've been down there a few years in a row now, and every year they step the game up.
Yeah.
So first time was like a private golf course. Well, first time was like at the private at the head coach's house. Then at a golf course, and then the last time we were down in the airplane hangar surrounded by jets, and just to even get to it, they had to stop the taxi of the airplane so I could drive past to get to where he had to go.
That's funny.
So kind of neat.
That's awesome, man. How many events do you think you do a year?
Well, last year in 24, we finished out the year with 177 events.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, especially considering there's only 52 weekends or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of events, and we started booking up a lot during the week as well. So
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome to see obviously a local business person's business be successful, but also just a different concept than that's out there.
yeah. No competition really
Yeah.
around here. So
How'd you get into it?
excuse me. So born and raised in St. Louis for 31 years. Been in and out of the restaurant industry my entire life since I was about 15. And I just had a friend call me one day and said, "Hey, we need help at the restaurant." I'm like, "Well, where are you working?" And she was like, "I'm at this hibachi restaurant." Now, mind you, this is 15, 16 years ago, right? And so it's like, I don't really fit the definition of that cooking style. And she was like, no, all you got to do is clean the grill. That's all you got to do. And I'm like, well, it's New Year's Eve. I'm busy. I didn't have anything going on. So I called her back about an hour later, and I was like, all right, what do you got? How much money can I make?
Yeah.
Because I had just opened up a food truck, Zia's on the Hill food truck. And it's a classic Italian, St. Louis's premier Italian restaurant, Zia's on the Hill. And So I wasn't really very interested in working anywhere else. I had that going.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I'm not doing anything, I can make a couple bucks. Why not try it out? So I'd go up there and just start scrubbing the grill and talking to the customers that are sitting around, still finishing up their dinner and everything. And I'm a jokester. I can't keep my mouth shut, and I can't help myself but try to have a good time. And so then we're interacting, and we're telling jokes and stuff, and they're giving me tips. And the head chef, he's noticing. I'm watching him notice me throughout the restaurant throughout the night. He comes up. He's like, oh, how you do that right there? You make money? You make tip? I'm like, oh. Yeah, you want some money back? And he's like, no, you keep your money, you do this, I teach you. I'm like, oh, man. I was like, I don't know, man, you might have the wrong guy.
Yeah.
He was like, no. Had some things go down at work a couple days after that, and I was like, you know what? Offer still on the table? He said, yes, it is. I said, all right. So I quit my job 4 days later, and
doing
been a life of hibachi ever since.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, man. I obviously you do it on a different level, but it's crazy how popular flat tops have got.
Yeah.
And goddamn, they're so like I don't even use my regular grill anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so easy to use, so easy to clean.
Yeah.
I mean, and
now,
honestly,
I've never done rice or anything on. You gave me some tips last time. I don't even remember. What was it about rice? Get it.
Well,
wet?
you gotta cook it the day before. Let it cool all the way down, and then you can break it up, right, into individual grains.
That's what it was, yeah.
And then it's easy to cook to get real fried rice.
Yeah. So I haven't even done fried rice. I haven't even attempted it on the flat top yet, but which is surprising because it's like my favorite, like Thai
the
food.
Blackstones have just blown up here recently.
God.
And I even started the business on a Blackstone. I think I bought it off of Craigslist for like $100 back when Craigslist was legit.
Still popping, yeah.
And I just modified it a little bit to run hotter. And I was like, my wife at the time, I was like, babe, I got an idea.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're crazy. I was like, no, listen to me.
Everything came from there.
Yeah.
How is it easier than doing like a food truck? You think?
Easier? I'm not sure about easier. No, this is probably going to be a little bit more difficult.
Just because all the setup of tables and all that stuff.
Because there's so much moving parts all the time. So at least on like a food truck, everything's like stationary. It's right there. So I've got a constant, crazy inventory list constantly running through my mind.
Yeah.
Just to be able to, because you can't forget anything.
Right.
That'll ruin the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
So
I have a photo booth rental business, and to really dial things in with that took a while. Like a lot of mistakes, a lot of forgetting stuff. So I can imagine on really a higher level with food and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you got anything else going on, it's like either you gotta be super detailed in your notes, or like just have somebody else take care of it so you can focus on the other things.
Yeah, it seems like you guys pretty well have it down to a science at this point.
Yeah.
I've probably know this many people. We need these things.
Yeah, knowing the head count obviously is a big thing before we get to a party. And then how many tables, what size tables are you gonna need, this and that. But I got now at this point, I've got my almost 30-foot trailer, and everything stays in there, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not moving anything from storage to the trailer or the back of a truck or something like that.
Make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Does what is the most people you guys have ever done? I assume you try to limit it to an
60
extent.
people as a buffet, but I have the ability to do up to a 200-person buffet.
Yeah, really? Okay.
I can do 45 as a sit-down.
Okay.
Where it's just one chef cooking for 45 people sitting down, and then I have additional servers to help get the food off the grill and take it to the plate so I can continue the cooking process.
Keep it cooking along. Yeah. No, so we had them at my birthday, and then we had a family event, and was all set up right in the garage. I'll tell you what, man, it's such a great thing for. I mean, I've only done it at that size where it's like 13, 14 people, but it's just such an intimate setting You know, you can
Yeah.
be loud, especially when you have, you know, we had kids there. They can
Hmm.
be loud, running around. It's just fun.
Well, what speaking of the intimacy, that's what brought me to the interest level that I'm at with this originally. So of course, I had to go through the training just to even get out onto the table, which was months and months. But then once I was able to get out there to the table, that close, intimate interaction that you have with the chef or the guests as the chef, it's just an intimate experience to give somebody the like hands free, take care of me. Like you put all your trust into me that I'm going to take care of you, and it's all going to be on the up and up.
Yeah.
That means a lot. And that's what drove my attention to this industry at all, to even do this. And then, obviously, like I said before, I'm a jokester. I like to, tell jokes, and I'm good with my hand-eye coordination. Been doing karate my whole life, so like it was just kind of like a shoe-in. Whenever I grew up with a Japanese tradition, always going on in the background, and then walk into a Japanese restaurant, learn the tricks and tools of trade, if you will, and just kind of flourish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you guys give quite the spread.
Yeah.
Definitely both times I remember leaving like, damn, that was a lot of food. I will say, for the price, it's really a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a ton of food, and you're at your home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very intimate experience. You can be as loud as you want. You provide when you think about, you go out to eat and you're buying drinks and whatnot, that alone, like the money you're saving by just buying drinks and you guys are serving them, like that like offsets any additional cost that might be incurred.
For sure.
From
I mean, at the local restaurants around here, when you go out, okay, maybe you can get away for $50-$60 a person. Maybe with drinks or maybe not, depending, right? Depending on what your order is.
Mm-hmm.
And our price point, for bringing it all to your doorstep, you're in the comfort of your own home with your favorite people. You're not trying to be awkwardly quiet because you don't want to have an uproar in a restaurant where a bunch of people, will be looking at you.
And again, especially with like young kids, like there's plenty of times we don't even go out to eat because we're like, this is just going to be a nightmare. These kids are going to be okay.
Yeah, so it's my very first party that I ever did, I was like, oh, I'm hooked. Like this is what I'm doing.
When did you say you got started?
So I've been doing mobile hibachi for about 6 years now.
6, wow.
First party was for ex Navy SEAL in St. Louis, and he was best friends with Stevie Nicks, and
that's cool.
And next thing you know, we're having a hot tub party afterward and everything, and I'm like, no, this is the life I need to live right here. This is it.
Stick around.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. It was. I'm trying to think too, like and it's awesome. You get everything. You get chicken, you get steak, you get the shrimp, rice, noodles. I just remember like, oh my god, there's so much food. Well,
like some of these restaurants you go to, they're like, well, what do you want? Do you want the vegetables?
Right.
Do you want chicken, shrimp, or steak? Like, no. I kind of want all of it, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I am. So that's why I built the menu that way.
Yeah, that's how I am too. I hate having to decide between one, and then sometimes you're like, hey, you want to split what we're doing here? You get the chicken, I'll get the steak.
Right.
So just getting it all is awesome. I love that. And then, I mean, shit, I think I had last time leftovers for like 2 days.
It's almost 2 pounds per person. It's a 1.75 pounds per person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of food.
Yeah. No, it's a great experience, man. And we've really loved it when we've done it, for sure.
Sweet, man.
What's been some of the biggest like challenges you've had to overcome? Obviously there's a lot of moving parts. You're at home cooking for people. I'm sure there's been a lot of learning experience over the years.
Knowing where to get your product, whether it be supplies for the parties like your utensils, to-go boxes and stuff like that, or just even the food itself. where to source that from, what makes most sense, without having to, drive around town to 7 different places, 8 different places. Like, where's your one-stop shop? What makes the most sense? What's going to give you a kickback? These things. So, like, whenever I first started this, it was just a part-time thing, and I was just having fun with it. And now it's grown into a full-time job, and so I really had to dial down those costs of goods and stuff like that. And like the plates and bowls I order off the internet. There's nobody in town that can offer the same quality
Right.
Of supply that I'm looking for. So
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
find
not
that
going to go to Party
balance.
City and get those flimsy.
You don't want it to
plates.
be too nice,
Yeah.
like, then you're just wasting money. But you don't want it to
Exactly.
be cheap where people's plates are falling apart.
Yeah. So I think like my bowls they cost me 75 cents per bowl, and the plates are at 50 cents a plate, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking $1.25 per setting,
Right. Everything
it adds up.
up.
And it's all disposable, right? So it's not like we're taking this anywhere and cleaning it up.
Yeah.
It's getting thrown away and moving on to the next one.
And that's the other nice thing, man, is like you just don't have to worry about cleanup.
Mhm.
when when you're having a dinner with 14, 15, 20
Exactly.
people and you got to do all the dishes afterwards, it's
Yeah.
even seating that many people, you know what I mean? It's no, it's just so convenient. It's
Yeah.
amazing nowadays how services that offer convenience, how big they are. You
Yeah.
think of things like Uber and Uber, Lyft. Hell, even at Small Cakes right now, we're selling sweet treat boxes, and they're nice because they come with two cupcakes, 2 cookies, 2 cake pops, and 2 chocolate covered strawberries. So not only are you getting something for somebody, but ideally you're sharing it with them.
Exactly.
And then it's in this really nice box, good presentation. It's like I call it a luxury magnetic box, magnetic closed
cool.
lid. It's got a bow that we tie around it. It comes with a card, and you
Okay.
can even add roses to it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Was that
It's
something you implemented whenever you
yeah,
took over?
yeah. We did
That's
that
cool.
last year for the first time, and sold out of them. So
Cool.
this year bought a lot more of them. But it, and one person commented like, "Oh, that's so expensive," and for what you're getting, it's really not. You don't have to, especially when you think about, one, it's not that expensive in general for everything you're getting, but two, like when you think about like, okay, I got a gift, now I got to drive and get a box, and now I got to drive and get a
presentation.
card, and
Yeah.
now I got to go get flowers somewhere, and it's like, nope, you just come here, you got everything
Yeah.
ready to go.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
But same with you guys, you know what I mean? You don't got to worry about if
Mhm.
you got all the plates and silverware and how much food and all that. You just kind of pay a slight premium, but again, peace of mind, man. That's
Mhm.
just all taken care of.
And that was one of the things whenever I first started this, that whenever people would call me like, well, what do I need? I'm like, nothing, I'll bring it all. Like, well, we already have tables and chairs. I'm like, well, I'm sure you do, but what kind of tables and chairs?
Yeah, some flimsy.
You got like the 1990s, 1980s lawn chair that's
collapsing,
gonna sit down here. Like 7 different style folding chairs, 3 different style
Yeah.
tables. Like
Everyone's at different heights.
yeah.
Trying to eat.
I remember one time, like a few years ago when I first started this, like showed up and this lady, she says, "Hey," she said, "we've already got everything set up for you." And I was like, "Well, why don't you just show me what you got, and we'll kind of go from there." So we go in, and I was like, "Oh my god!" It was like a table this size. It was a round table. There was like another table, and then like 17 different style chairs all the way around.
This is
And
not
I
how
was
you
like,
have the
I
experience.
appreciate it, but can you get that out of my way?
Yeah. We're going to need you to go ahead and pack all that up. Yeah, and again, when we're talking about experience, I mean, just having that like U-shaped right there where you can all kind of talk to each other while you're still centered, and it's just I don't know, it's great.
Yeah, and I see other chefs around the country and around the nation, trying to, get their own mobile service going. And sometimes they like set them all up in a line, or like they got like a table all the way over here and a table all the way over here, or like 2 over there and 2 over there facing each other. I'm like, well, nobody's even paying attention to what you're doing, so I don't know how much of a show you were putting on, but I'm here for the show.
Yeah.
And the food.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother aspect of it. It's an experience.
Mhm.
So not only are you selling the convenience, a meal, but an experience for everybody there.
Mhm.
No, it really checks a lot of the boxes when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, just pick up the phone and call me. I'll get everything else. You worry about your drinks and your gifts or whatever you get. I got the rest. Yeah.
So what was like the first restaurant you ever worked at?
Kobe Steakhouse, Westport Plaza in St. Louis.
Okay.
That was actually the only restaurant I've ever worked at, and
It was a pretty nice place.
in my
Sounds
opinion,
nice.
it's the best in the nation.
Really?
Yes. Jim Hamilton was the owner of it whenever I got there. Shane Davis took it over. Thanks to those two, I was able to, go through my trials and tribulations of customer service and,
Mhm.
Doing all that. Because, especially in this industry, we can kind of give you a guideline of how to do it, what to do. But it's really up to you in the customer interaction once you're out there and doing it. So you don't learn until you fuck up.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, oh, you better be careful.
Right.
Or worse. And so, like, tons and tons of learning curves. So it's not all roses. That's for sure.
Have you ever been approached by somebody like looking to have you help them set up a similar business like somewhere else?
Yeah. Here locally. I won't name the restaurant or the person, but yeah, there's been a couple different restaurants to reach out to me for some consulting ideas and stuff like that. And I'm more than willing to oblige and help out. It takes a village, right, to support a family, and I'm here in this village trying to raise my family. So if I can help you, you're gonna help me at the end of the day, or vice versa. And so
Yeah. I just didn't know. I could see like, if somebody basically wanted to do the same thing in another town, it seems like it'd be worth it to pay somebody to just come, break down the process and what to think about and everything.
I do help administer a Facebook page, a private hibachi chef page, where we bounce ideas, business plans, and models against each other.
That's
and
cool.
They reach out and, hey, what are you doing? I got a bunch of questions about this. Like, how do you operate? How did you write your business plan? What do you do in this case, or this case? And
Yeah.
typically, I can answer most all those questions because I've had, I think, almost every scenario you could think of.
Had you ever experienced anything like this prior to starting it?
Like been at a party, something like that?
Yeah, where someone's done something?
No. Actually, whenever I was at Kobe in St. Louis, going through my ranks there, had a lot of customers ask me, hey, like, you come to people's houses? I'm like, I don't know. Let me go ask. So I'd go to my head chef. I'm like, hey, do we go to people's houses? And they were always like, no, there's no money in it. Don't do it.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I think it's a really, really cool idea. I think I want to do that. And then they're like, no, it's not worth it. Don't try. I'm like, this is what gives me the drive to do it.
Yeah. Well, and a hibachi style seems like the perfect option.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're not trying to cook a bunch of, you cook steak, but you're not trying to cook like a bunch of ribeye on a grill or like a regular grill or something, which would just, it'd be a little bit different. I feel like a little more challenging.
Yeah, man, I tell you, my first time down to Louisville, Kentucky, it started off as, I think, a 34-person party. And then by the time I left town here, got down there, it ended up being 46 people. And I was like, what?
Well, they just keep calling and do.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if you realize how this works. And I'm like, okay, I'll make it work. And then, so I stop, I'm getting extra steaks and this and that. And next thing you know, I have 46 steaks. And I'm up there cutting steaks for like an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this. Like, it just takes too long, right? To individually cut everybody's steak right there on the grill in front of them. So then I started getting smart. I was like, well, I got to cut this steak before I get there for these large parties. Because it's killing my arms. Like, that's a lot to do. And now I'm not making any promises, but I'm hoping I can keep it to where I just bring cut up filet.
Yeah.
It's a better bite than the New York strip that I've been offering. It's already cut up. Don't have to worry about that. And it's a nice tender bite for the customer. And I can cook it any way you want to. So yeah. But that was a learning curve, man. Cutting up 46 steaks on one.
Yeah, that's a lot. Jeez. Especially if there's especially if they're adding them after the fact. It's like, I can do it, but you're gonna get a premium
Yeah.
charge here.
Well, and it was a recruitment dinner night for the nation's #1 basketball players,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god.
So
Let's
how
just
did that even come about? They just found you, or had they
Um,
been to an event before? or-
Courtney is her name. I can't think of her last name off the top of my head right now, but Courtney, she was a university, Louisville, Kentucky, women's basketball player, and then I think she even went into the WNBA. Lives out in Phoenix, Arizona, but helps coach and facilitate players' needs and stuff like that, and like points them in the right direction. And I guess she had been following me for about a year or so.
Yeah, okay.
She was like, "Hey, I think this sounds
Saw
fun."
it through someone she
Yeah.
knew or something.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" She was like, "Yeah, come on down." I'm like, "Stop."
Is that the furthest you've ever gone?
No, we've been to like Akron, Ohio, Tampa, Florida, Dothan, Alabama, Boston, Massachusetts,
That's
Chicago,
crazy.
yeah, St. Louis. We all over the place.
Yeah, that's bonkers, man. I can't believe that. It's even makes it. I want to say worth it. That doesn't seem the right thing to say, but to bring you that far,
Mhm,
that's awesome.
mhm.
That they recognize that experience and
Yeah,
skill and all that, just to make it worth it to do that.
I guess it's like word of mouth, man. That's what it is. It really is what it comes down to. Because I don't advertise at all.
Yeah.
I flood Facebook in my news feed, or whoever's following me. So I try to post as often as possible to stay in that algorithm. You already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just hopefully just get a good review from the people that hired me, and they talk to the right people, and that's really where it comes from.
Well, and you have a great concept, because the people there are most likely taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're having this awesome experience. One,
Yep.
two, they're with each other, so they're probably taking pictures of each other and everything.
Mhm.
So it's a really, what do I want to say, prime business for user-generated content.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like them just posting photos without you even having to ask them to, because they're sharing this awesome experience they're having. That's what people like to do.
Yeah, and then I think one of my best investments, which wasn't even that much. I think it was only like $300, which for what it is, kind of a lot. That vinyl backdrop that I bring with the step pattern,
Yeah,
the logo.
they call that a step. What do they call those? Step.
I think it's a step pattern. Is what they
Step
call it.
something?
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of people like taking group photos with that, with their family and everything, or even just couples. And I've even seen a few couples here recently take pictures behind it, and then that's just like their new profile picture.
Yeah.
So then, like, thanks for the free advertisement, and it looks great too. So easy peasy.
Yeah. Well, it's hard for a lot of businesses to get people to create user-generated content.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really interesting business in that aspect, because it's just natural for them to do it.
And I didn't even really think about it like that until it actually started happening. I was like, how smart am I for not even trying to even try?
Yeah. No, it's word of mouth is the best marketing for sure. So yeah, when you're providing that top-notch experience, the people are going to share and talk. Because I know even before we ever hired you, I think that's how my wife found it. Somebody else, she just saw pictures,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, of somebody else's event.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, that'd be cool. And she just knows I love hibachi in general. So it's literally like my favorite, you know what I mean? Thai food, hibachi, Chinese food, all that stuff. Like I could eat that every day.
Me too. I love it. And I like the quality has to be first, and then everything else after that. And I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
Even my daughter, I'm like, babe, what do you want for dinner tonight? She's like, hibachi steak.
Cook
I'm
it
like,
up.
Stop it.
You gotta give me the experience every night, Dad.
Yeah.
What is there a lot of is it very different from like a, what do I want to say, like a regulation standpoint, I guess, of like going to people's places? Like I know obviously at like Small Cakes, for example,
Right.
health department
Mm-hmm.
comes in there randomly and wants to check out your kitchen and do all this stuff.
So we find ourselves in a really unique position as far as that goes. So like, as you know, like your food storage and stuff like that, like that labeling, storage, da 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 da. That's going to be the first thing that they're going to be looking at, right? And checking your temps and doing this. You can't do well. First off, you don't know where I'm at. Second, once it comes from my cart to the grill to the plate, no, you're not checking that, right? So it's like it's coming out of the cooler. It's right there on ice. It's obviously cold.
It's not like you're keeping a giant freezer of steaks.
Yeah. I have it. It's just for you. It's not like I've got a big kitchen full of stuff that is waiting to be sold. And if I don't sell it to you, then I'll get the next person. So and that we've had several talks about it with the health lady, Colleen Kelly, and she's like, "You're just in a really unique position."
Yeah.
So luckily, it's not a concern at this point. Once we get the venue going, obviously there's going to be a lot more standards to uphold and everything like that because we'll have a dedicated kitchen, storage facility, this and that. And
is this a new announcement?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. I'm in the market. About a year ago, me and a buddy of mine went in and he made the purchase of a building, and we had this advantageous idea that he was going to use one part of it for this, and I was going to use the other part for this. Not quite sure what was going on in his part, but it's kind of slowed down on his part, and so I'm like, well, that's fine. I'm going to move forth and do all my own thing and not have to worry about anybody else. So that's coming in the market. I'm actually right now building a brand new grill that's bigger than the one that you've seen. So the one you've seen was that diamond plate, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It was a 3-foot grill, and I'm building,
not really that big for how much you cook up on it.
Right now, I'm building a 4-foot grill.
Wow.
And then actually, as soon as I leave here, I'm going to pick up my new trailer.
Nice.
So we'll use that for like the 3-foot grill you saw. It'll go into the small trailer I'm going to go pick up today. The 4-foot grill is going to go into the big trailer, so we can help facilitate larger parties out of that trailer. Use a small trailer for smaller parties. And then once the venue gets purchased and opened and everything, then a concession trailer, and then we're going to go out to festivals and carnivals and whatever else we can get ourselves into.
Yeah,
so.
Nice. How complicated does it get when, as like a party grows? I mean, I heard you mention at a point it turns to basically has to turn to a buffet style, which is understandable. Mm-hmm. Does it add a lot of complication when you have a larger group?
No, not really, not at all. You would think so. So I can still have that original Blackstone that I spoke of. So I'll just bring that out as like a satellite grill, and I'll like put the veggies on there and let them sit and start to sear and do their thing while I move on to the rice. So while that's going, rice is going over here, and then I'll have additional servers that I'll pop the food off the grill into a bowl. They'll go around with that bowl and a spoon, pass it out to everybody, obviously making sure that, allergies and this and that are taken care of, or the food is served in a proper rotation according to anything that might be going on. That's really the only complication is just making sure that I have the support that I need to get the food off the grill to your plate.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a regular day.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I guess, again, Hibachi's a little unique in that situation. And I've never actually had to book you. For our events, it's been my wife, and I don't know if she booked you for the one at my sister-in-law's or not. What kind of stuff do you typically have to check with people? I mean, is it usually just, are you a vegetarian, are you not? Is there like a questionnaire that basically gets filled out? Yeah,
so I field the questions all myself. And this is why we don't allow any online bookings that like you'd be able to go onto my website and book a party for the 15th.
Yeah.
I don't allow that because I have a lot of questions that I need to field to make sure that the event space is going to be adequate. Check in any, special diets or anything like that I might have to be supplying. And then what it looks like to even just get to that location from my trailer to the event space. What's that look like? If it's going to be inside? Yeah, if it's going to be inside or outside, what's the weather looking like? What time of year it is? So like these are things that I have to, field, and probably one day I can train somebody to help decipher those things. But right now, it just makes it easier for me because I'm going to be the one working it. I'm going to be the one cooking. I need all that information, and I can't rely on somebody else to give me that info and forget something.
Yeah.
So for now, it's easier.
What kind of so somebody wants to have it, outside on their back porch or whatever. Do you like basically require like a backup if, terrible weather or whatever?
Yeah, so in case of inclement weather, because everybody's deposit when you call me, because this is all very tailored just for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you call me and say, hey, I want the 15th, okay, fine. Well, I tell everybody that I can't work for them on the 15th. So that's a non-refundable deposit. I want you to have as much skin in the game as I do.
Yeah.
Right? It's
for sure.
This isn't like a fly-by-night thing for me, and I don't certainly want it to be like that for you.
Yeah. We do the same thing with the photo booth.
Yeah, so non-refundable deposit. If you end up canceling, I greatly apologize. You're out of your money because I told everybody else behind you that I'm not working,
mm-hmm.
right? Or that I'm already working, I can't work for them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that
and you can't
person to be like,
screwed
hey,
that you blocked out a day.
Hey, Sally, you know what? Did you want that day? Because it said somebody, it's just a bad move business-wise.
Yeah.
And so that's why that is. But yeah, just making sure that, everything is as seamless as possible for me and for you. And so that's why I just field all those questions to make sure that, but your question about the inclement weather, so in case, they want to have it on their patio, if it starts raining or thunderstorming, we need to have the ability to bring it inside. I don't care how you do it or where you're going to do it necessarily. Right. I just don't cook inside of people's houses. Because all that grease in the air and the smoke, it's going to mess somebody's drapes up or,
right.
Grandma's 150-year-old linen over in the, it's something.
Yeah.
So I haven't had an insurance claim. I don't want one. So other than that, try to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's raining, we still got people coming to your house, so we got to keep it going. So.
Yeah. So essentially, either we have to have a backup or it's canceled. It sounds
and see that would be the great part about having a venue is if you book me but you don't have a backup place, which has happened before, and they're like, well, we're just going to risk it for the biscuit. Well, kudos to you, right? And thank you, but I would love to be able to facilitate that move or help you figure it out rather than say, sorry, you're out your money. So.
Yeah.
So venue is pivotal for a lot of different reasons.
So if with the venue, is your goal essentially to, have a place for that situation, but just a place in general that people can book parties and have a wedding or whatever it may be?
Correct. Yeah, that's the idea. I don't want a restaurant. Too much overhead.
Yeah.
Too many moving parts that I don't want to deal with. People are unreliable, and you never know what's going to happen in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can keep that overhead cost as low as possible, just a solid headquarter kitchen that's absolutely mine, and then a clean space that can be rented for either private parties for what I do, or if you want to do your birthday, anniversary, divorce, first date, last day. I don't care what you got. We can rent it out to you.
That's cool. I when we were first looking for a building, right before COVID, we actually had plans drawn up for a space that was going to be mostly a venue, and then a chunk of it carved out for Upox.
Okay.
And I don't know, I just for some reason always wanted a venue to be able to host things at or do parties at or whatever. And then I just saw a need for them. A lot of venues have popped up since then, but I had the plans all drawn up and was starting to basically pick out a place to build it, and COVID hit, and I was just like, Jesus, I'm glad we weren't in the middle of building this place right now, because that would have probably bankrupted me.
Yeah, during COVID, man, everything was so expensive.
The price of materials just went crazy.
Well, I got my first trailer, and it was only a 5x8, but I think I got it for right at $2,000, $1,800, I think. And then the next one I went to go buy, it was a 7x16. was 14,000. I
Jesus.
was like, what the hell happened? And they were like, it's COVID. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I can't wait for this to be over.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm still waiting for prices to come down.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably never will.
yeah. We'll
Once
see.
a company gets you used to paying more, they never want to back
Yeah.
it off, even if it is cheaper for them. So you were operating during COVID.
I opened in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that affect you? Was it? I mean, you're at home. Were you still able to do stuff, or how's?
Well, so here's how all this really happened. So when I moved here from St. Louis, about 6 years ago now,
what initiated the move? How come you chose Springfield?
get my daughter out of St. Louis, get her
Okay.
out of the big city, get her close to family. I got family in Nyack, Taylorville, and stuff like
Okay.
that. And so I just wanted to get her out here close to them where they could help. They can see her more often. They can help take care of her or
Yeah.
whatever the case might be. Because at that time,
it's hard, man, without having
Yeah.
any help. Jeez, my brother-in-law moved to Las Vegas, and he has a kid, and I told my wife, because her parents help us so much watching our kids randomly or
Mhm.
whatever it may be. I'm like, I can't imagine raising kids with like zero
Yeah.
help from family,
Yeah, and that's really tough. But then also it's on your pocketbook, man.
Yeah.
I think we were paying right at about $1,000 a month just for her child care.
Mhm.
And obviously she was a newborn, so it's going to cost a little bit more. But it was just like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
drowned
crazy
in here.
expensive.
So then I told my wife, I'm like, quit your job. Like, we're just trading dollars here,
Yeah.
So then she became a stay-at-home, and then I was like, this is not working.
Yeah.
We got to get close to family. You need to get back to work, because she's advantageous. She's got her own goals and stuff like that in life. Like just sitting around the house is not going to it doesn't make you feel good. So let's get out and
Yeah.
get the kid taken care of. We can get ourselves taken care of, this and that. And so, so that was the reason why we moved. And we love going out to dinner to eat at places, and we just noticed during COVID. I mean, obviously it was COVID, so there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things that were affecting the economy and just operations.
Mhm.
So even knowing that, though, it was not fun going out to restaurants because everybody was undertrained, didn't care,
Yeah.
staff wasn't there, restaurants were closed, the quality of the food was terrible. I was like, this is the time to strike right here. This is when I gotta get into this.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was able to get some money out of the bank account after a lot of pleading. So
Get things going.
yeah,
Well, it seems, I mean, I know there's still a lot of cost, but it seems like a relatively low risk investment,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure most of the stuff you could have turned around and sold for a decent price if you had to,
yeah,
as opposed to building out a restaurant and all the signage, and
correct.
which is nice.
Well, yeah, whenever you make a sign, you got to pay for it to be lit, and so then you got that ever occurring bill or whatever. And
Mhm.
my only cost was buy it one time and just buy some quality stuff, so then it lasts,
Yeah.
and you're not replacing it all the time. Well, have a proper place to store it so it's not getting messed up. Other than that, I mean, I let the business build itself debt free.
Yeah.
So like even right now, this new trailer, the grill, and everything, it's all paid
Feels
for.
good,
I got a
doesn't
lot of
it?
money out of the pocket this week, but
Yeah.
it's
You're just
done.
investing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it feels good. So when I started Ootbox, I actually started the photo booth business at the same time. I had just recognized that there was an opportunity there. My friend, it was actually at my buddy's house watching football, and they had just been to a wedding, and he was talking about a photo booth there, and I was like, well, what was it? Like, you know what I mean? He was just telling me about it. So I started looking online, and there was basically no businesses that had a good website and a good photo booth product. And I knew I could build a website. I mean, that's what I do. So I was like, anyway, long story short, I ended up, the bank wouldn't give me a loan really to start this because, it was such a new thing. Like, what are you getting? What do you need the money for? But a photo booth was an actual physical product.
Right.
So I got a line of credit to buy the photo booth originally. And then I used the money from working the photo booth on weekends to fund building this.
Okay.
but again, I mean, I did take a line of credit to buy the photo booth, which was expensive. It was like $10,000 the
Right.
first one. But besides that, like that money just funded building this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd make money to pay the bills other ways. I'd go garage sailing on weekends
Mm-hmm.
and buy stuff and sell it on eBay, and was doing a lot of random stuff to just pay the bills. But yeah, I've essentially been able to build this business debt free for the most part.
That's amazing, man.
Obviously now we have a building, which
Right.
is debt, but yeah, it was. I hate debt. Like
Same.
it just
Yeah.
feels like handcuffs on you, man.
Well, it's like you're like every month $10,000 you got to go out.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tough one because what if nothing happens this month?
Yeah, yeah.
We're just gonna go under in 1 month, you know?
Yeah, exactly, and it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Having to make those payments.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that do it and that are successful with it. You know what I mean? And I understand that too. It's just, I don't know. I've always hated the idea of debt. It's just,
Well, it's easier not to have that stress on you. And you can
Yeah.
really like be like, not a free spirit, but like a free thinker. Do your freelance, whatever you need to do to, make ends meet or, pay your little menial bills that you have because you actually were able to
yeah,
make a large investment that's already paid off. It's done.
yeah. Even signing the lease for our first studio, which was actually just next door in the garage, was a scary, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh God, I'm signing the lease. Do I want to do this? And, then I bought desks and all that crap, but I hadn't been paying myself out of the business forever.
Mhm.
I remember like probably 3 or 4 years into the business, I finally could afford to hire an accountant, which was a huge relief. And he was basically like, you got to start paying yourself something. Because I hadn't paid myself at all, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because then I hired actually Ryan here. He was my first teammate. And, it's just scary. Like, all right, he's got to get paid first, and I got to pay the bills here. And you want to keep investing in the business. So I just never really paid myself anything.
Yeah.
And he was just like, you got to start paying yourself something. You're making too much money now. And I'm like, all right, I guess. So
Fine.
started paying myself a small salary, which was nice. I mean, it was nice to start actually taking something
start collecting.
from something from all the hard work. But it even now, you know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just scary to, I don't pay myself that much, because we got a big team to pay and all the expenses. I mean, shit, I just had to cover the costs of plowing and stuff from the snow that just
man.
happened. It's like, yeah,
Those
whenever it's
guys-
gonna snow, I'm like, please don't snow very much. Please don't snow very much.
Those guys make some money.
Yeah, it's weird how they charge you too. But there's just so many random expenses that start coming when you have like your own building and just team. And that's why I tell my team, I'm like, whatever you guys are getting paid, like tack on a few $1,000s to that, because that's what it actually cost me
Right.
for taxes and
Yeah.
all this crap we got to do.
Yeah. Payroll tax.
Yeah, it's in Illinois ain't very favorable for small businesses. That's for sure. It's frustrating, man. The taxes here are ridiculous.
Like there's some advantages, and then there's other disadvantages.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know if it's a wash. When I'm used to Missouri, and I come over here, I'm like, oh, well, at least I don't have property tax anymore. But then
Right.
vehicle tax and stuff like that every year. And it's like, well, but I'm paying so much more for this stuff. I don't know if it's a wash necessarily, but
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because we were actually just talking about this not too long ago, because just talking about like taxes and stuff. And I'm like, it's kind of weird because like a lot of states, I think the majority of the states, you either have income tax or sales tax. I'm pretty sure most states don't have both.
right.
And they just make it up one way or the other, and we're just getting hit with everything. That's why I'm like, man, I hope Trump gets rid of income tax. That'd be nice. I mean, we'd get hit, another way, but at least I can control how much I'm buying to cover for sales tax.
Yeah, and like we were just talking about this today. A couple of buddies of mine. He's got this 25% tariff on steel and aluminum coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's great, cool. We'll charge the other countries, fine. but they're going to charge us more because we're charging them more. So then, cool, got it.
Right.
Where's my break?
Yeah. Where's
So
the
are
break
we
happen?
like, what are you taking off my plate?
It's such a tough thing, the tariffs, because like I see what he's trying to do. It's like a long-term play or a negotiating play or whatever. But yeah, there's going to be a period where it like hurts regular people for
Right.
sure. And again, with business and being a business owner, I always try to think long term as, a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure depending on what happens, you know what I mean, there's probably going to be a period where it hurts a little bit.
Yeah. I'm hoping maybe it's like, we'll have like a rough year. And then like after that we can like start prospering.
Yeah. It would be cool to get more stuff made in America.
Man, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Well, I
That'd be
mean, with
neat.
him dismantling all these different organizations and stuff, we'll have the workforce again.
Yeah,
It'll be there.
hopefully.
Maybe it's not what you're used to doing.
Freaking
but-
lazy people. How hard is it? Is it very hard for you to get like extra help when you need it? You got good people that you kind of have on the line.
We've got a really good following, really good customer base, and I have a lot of people offering all the time for help. And usually it's just as simple as like just make a simple post like, hey, I'm looking for somebody who needs some help.
Yeah.
17 hands raised. I'm like, okay, well,
That's
who's
nice.
got the most experience?
Yeah.
Who's worth it?
Make a little extra money. Yeah, it's been challenging for us to get the people we need. It's really tough too, because like these people get out of college, man, and they're like, they think they should be making $90,000 like right out the bat. I'm like, $90,000.
What happened to paying your dues?
Like I don't even pay myself that, man. What are we doing here? But I understand you got school debt, you got to pay that back and all this shit. But it's like, I mean, you made those choices. It's a tough thing.
Yeah. I mean, there was years after getting out of school that I didn't have money to pay those things back, and so life's got to go, right? So
Did you go to college?
Business administration and management. Yeah. I don't know how much it's helped me. I mean, obviously quite a bit because it kind of encompasses all aspects of business. So
It's just crazy nowadays how much you can learn online if you just take the time to teach yourself.
the information's there.
Yeah.
Just
I've talked to a couple classes like CACC and like, just random school classes. And I always try to touch on the subject in a careful way, but I'm like school is great. Obviously, if you have to get a degree for like being a lawyer or a doctor and get all those licenses and all that shit. But I'm like, if you have the self-discipline to teach yourself, like don't take on school debt.
college is obsolete.
College,
unless you're trying to, like you say, be a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
I want you to go to college. Bro.
Yeah.
Don't learn that off YouTube, please.
I mean, most of the stuff that I know, like I knew like going into school, I mean, as far as like programs and, I did learn I had a great marketing professor. And I loved him as a teacher. And he opened my mind to some different things, but, in general for me, it was really just an expensive party,
Yeah.
which was good to get out of my system, I guess. But
I could have actually been at the workforce, getting it done.
Yeah. So, but I also had my dad made a pretty sweet deal with me that if I paid for my first 2 years at Lincoln Land, and I went to a community college, where it was cheap for the first 2 years, and I covered the cost of that he would help me with my second 2 years
sweet.
At somewhere reasonable. So I was able to get out of school without any debt, which was huge.
Which is not common.
No.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That was I'm very grateful for that. That's for sure.
When you actually use what you went to school for. How often does that happen anymore?
I know, right? Yeah, people don't know. I actually think, I talk about this somewhat frequently too, but I actually think someday that like people probably won't go to college, but they'll pay for internships. I know when I was in school originally, and obviously I'm glad I didn't go this route because CDs and everything are gone. But I was like, I wanted to do graphic design for like music, like CD covers, record covers, all that stuff. Like I was like, man, that'd be so cool. And I had a lot of stuff like that in my portfolio. But I remember I was trying to get an internship with like Sony, and I tried to get a bunch of different places, but I just remember literally thinking like I would pay them to give me a shot to come there and show them what I can do.
Yeah.
Because I just knew like if someone gave me a shot, like they would see the skill, they would see the work ethic, and I'd be able to turn it into a job.
For a short time, I was an over-the-road truck driver.
Really?
And I actually put myself through truck driver training school out of pocket. I just couldn't get a loan.
So CDL?
Yeah, Class A CDL. And I got on with this company out of Cedar Rapids. And I think like the going rate at that time for like a seasoned driver, a couple years under the belt, was like 45, 50 cents a mile. And I didn't have any experience, but I did have the license.
Yeah.
And they were like, we'll give you 22 cents a mile. And I was like, what? And they're like, well, because you're also training, other expenses, so you're going to actually only make 19 cents a mile.
Oh,
like,
geez.
this thing better keep it rolling.
Keeps getting dwindled. Just going to put this thing up on a...
Oh, man.
Yeah. The world, the country operates on truck drivers, that's for sure. They're an integral part. It's an interesting career. I love the road. I love driving. I love road trips. It's very meditative for me. Now with kids, and if they're in the back screaming and yelling, it takes away a little bit of that.
Yeah. Born and raised in St. Louis, obviously crazy traffic out there, millions of people, or I think maybe about 2 million. And I was always like a very confident driver, never anxious or anything like that. Now that I've lived out here, then, over the road truck driving and everything all throughout the 48 states. Now living out here for 6 years, and I go to St. Louis for like a party or whatever, and I got this 26-foot long trailer and this big F-250 now. So I'm like 65 feet long altogether. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. Especially at traffic.
I get so nervous, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Going up to Chicago, man. I'm trying to drive around up there is craziness. I can't imagine, like, I've never lived in a big city. My sister lived in Chicago, and I'd go up there and visit her, and I was just like, God damn, this is so inconvenient. I understand the pull and why it's awesome also, and I probably would have really loved it if I would have done it in my 20s or something. But yeah, there's a lot of stress. I feel like it just feels like a stressful situation
too, because like that's more what gets me than anything is like I can't afford to have anything go wrong.
Yeah,
because I like all the downtime, and then obviously you're going to be out of some money, even if you have insurance. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
because like you have expenses right now.
It's expensive too in some of these cities. Jeez, that's one thing that is nice about where we are is it's relatively low living costs. Which makes it a little easier.
Well, and 20 miles is 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, I know. My brother lives out in Seattle, and I go visit him, and it's like whenever we drive from his house into actual Seattle, it's like an hour. And he's not even that far out of Seattle.
12 miles.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, this is crazy. Like, I can't imagine doing this all the time. It's just so much time out of your life.
Over the summer, or just I guess 2 months ago or so, I was in Indianapolis to see Matt Rife.
Oh, nice.
And phenomenal show. This dude is hilarious.
Yeah.
But then we wanted to go. There was 5 of us, and we wanted to go to Dick's Last Resort. That restaurant where they're mean to you.
Yeah.
Or rude to you.
Yeah. Downtown,
and
is that the only one there?
Yeah.
The one downtown. We almost went to it when we were there last time.
We were not on the other side of town, but just like, I don't know, like if it's like north, south, east, west, right? Like we were here and it was right here, so it's not that far. It was like 17 miles, and it said 48 minutes. I'm like, well, I guess we're not going to Dick's.
Yeah, jeez. Then we got to wait. Yeah, we went to, we took the kids to the Children's Museum over there.
Okay.
How old's your daughter?
She's 6.
Okay. awesome children's museum.
Okay.
It's freaking amazing. Super cool place. They had a blast. But yeah, we stayed downtown, so we were really close to Dick's. It was only like a few minutes walk to get there.
Yeah.
We didn't end up going there, but it was we were going to go there. We actually shortly after that we were in where were we? Was that in Tennessee? I think it was in Tennessee, and we ended up going to one there.
Sweet.
Which was pretty
What did you
fun.
think of it? Did the kids
It was
like
cool. Yeah, kids. It was kind of crazy. I don't know if they really knew what was going on, but they got to, be loud and act a fool and not get yelled at the whole time. So I think they had a good time. We were in Gatlinburg area. You ever been over there? It's pretty nice.
Really cool place.
Mountains there are beautiful.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Not far out of Gatlinburg, Gallatin. There's a little town down there. I got pulled over one time before.
Cops got me.
I went through town square with a semi, and this cop in a PT Cruiser.
A PT Cruiser cop? Oh my
Yeah.
God, that'd be terrible.
I was like, is this happening right now?
Yeah, am I
Is this
being
real?
pranked right now?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know they used those as police vehicles.
Yeah.
That must have been a backup or something. PT Cruiser. God, can you imagine being the police officer? That's your squad car.
Oh, and he
They're
was
like,
so
we're getting you
sloppy.
your own squad
Yeah.
car. Get all excited. They're like, here it is.
No, listen, he was wearing like a Levi's belt and he had a cap gun. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was barely making it.
That's funny. Mall cop.
Yeah. He had a whistle.
I don't even know if I would have pulled over. Been like, I don't think this is real. I feel like I'm about to get hijacked here or something. That's funny, man. So when do you think the venue thing will be rocking and rolling?
Don't know. I don't have anything, my sights set on anything right now. Just get my feelers out there. I've got a few things that I need to go check out once this week dies down. So probably next week, get out there and see what's going to be most feasible for me.
Yeah. Does winter end up being slower for you, or is there
No.
pretty busy all year?
It was kind of funny, actually. So last winter was just incredible. This winter's been moderate, but the summer was just, it was insane. I mean, we were doing 5-6 parties a week. And in this industry and what I do, because it is so personalized, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know? It's looking like this. The rest of this winter is looking great, and summer's going to start packing up here soon. So
Nice.
I think we got the perfect little roll going here.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great business, man. If it's delicious, again, the convenience, it's just a great experience. I'm part of a group called the Central Illinois Customer Service Association.
Okay.
And it's all about basically trying to offer a way for businesses and people to learn more about customer service. Mm-hmm. We bring in a lot of national speakers and stuff like that. So, in the food industry, it's all about customer service, and you guys definitely knock it out of the park when it comes to that. The experiences have always been great. Customer service has been awesome. Again, I've never had to deal with like the booking of it or whatever, but just how easy it is. Here's your space. Show up.
Yeah, it's usually like a 10-minute phone call, wham bam, and then that's it.
That's awesome. Well, I definitely highly encourage anybody that's having an event, or really anything that just even like get the family together for a different experience. Well, it's interesting, like, especially in our area, I think anytime you can provide something for people to do, they're always looking for something to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have so many restaurants. You know what I mean? Because people want to go and do something, and there's not a lot to really go do besides go out to eat.
Correct. But we live in Central Illinois, so there's a lot of farmers. People use their extra money to update their house and their property. So typically people have large indoor areas or have spent money on their outdoor area, or both, whatever, depending on their means. So I think that's helped contribute a lot to this success. Because there is not a lot to do, and then people spend money on building their household up so that they have the space to do it.
Yeah, and again, just in all the offerings that your business brings between that, something to do, the convenience, the experience. It's just really hitting a lot of check marks that I think have led to your success. So
Yeah.
it's been awesome to see, man. It's awesome to see
Thank
you
you.
guys grow and provide jobs and be busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to see there's so many businesses that start and are out of business before I even knew about them. You know, you see in like the business journal or something, this business is closing, and I'm like, I never even saw an ad for that business.
Right. I never even saw the logo.
Yeah. So I hate seeing that, you know, because people take a risk to start something, and you know, a lot of times what we found is, you know, people start stuff but they don't budget for advertising.
Yeah.
So it's nice, you know, for your particular business, again, thinking about the user generated content, like you haven't had to spend any money on advertising.
No.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's I think I've spent like maybe $12 on Facebook to see what they can start an ad or whatever.
this
Like,
or
well, you
that.
can get out to 300 more people if you spend $12. I'm like, how about 6?
Yeah.
And then it gets out to like 4 people. You see the
Come on,
analytics.
keep going.
Like,
You're like,
okay,
damn, these
that
are the
was-
same people that would have liked it
That was
anyway.
not worth it. But we do have we got a pretty large credit with like Capital Radio Group right now. So
Just doing an
hopefully you're
event
gonna get
form or
with them here
something.
soon. Yeah, you're gonna get with them here soon and start a radio ad. Not that it's necessary, but hey, it'll help.
something
And
out there.
the credit's already there, so I might as well
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah, I've heard that they do that a lot. The radio stations,
Yeah.
they just work with businesses, kind of trade to an extent. We do that a little bit sometimes, depending on the situation. But yeah, well, yeah, man. I would highly recommend their services. It's a great experience. Anybody that's looking for something to do, looking for a unique thing to have, if family's in town or a work event or whatever that may be, definitely highly recommend. And congratulations on the success,
Thanks, man.
And
Thank you.
appreciate you coming in today to have a conversation about it. It's
I
awesome
appreciate
hearing
you
your
having
story.
me. Yeah.
So, all right, thanks everybody. And where can people? What's the best way to book? Website? Or?
Yeah, get on Facebook, Hibachi Boy. Same logo. That's going to be the main picture there. So that's how you know it's going to be me. And then, or if you want to go to hibachi-boy.com, that'll also revert you to our Facebook page, where I'm super easy to get a hold of. My phone number, email, everything's on there. Typically within 24-hour response. So
Cool.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations. Look forward to hearing more once you get the venue situation going.
Heck
Maybe
yeah.
have to come back and tell people about it. And book the Hibachi Boy. We definitely got to get another booking in here
Heck yeah, we
soon.
do.
It's fun. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Check them out. Tons of pictures. You can see what they do, how they do it. It's a great experience. So thanks for coming in today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.